that wasn't too bad. I think you should calm down a little bit. Okay. Got a bit of a headache, but that's okay. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Thank you very much. Holy shit, I can't wait to see what happens next. That wasn't too bad. Hey guys, welcome back to the Great Ones channel and welcome back to another movie review. And the movie I'm reviewing today is the sequel to Bumblebee, which was a prequel, I honestly don't know. I have no clue. But it's another Transformers movie and, you know, it contains Transformers, of course, and also has humans because, you know, we love humans in a Transformers movie. They're always great. And don't worry, this is not directed by Michael Bay. He did not direct this movie. Let's fucking go. He produced it, but he didn't write it or direct it, so we're good. And the movie is Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Holy shit, another Transformers movie. Every time I realize how long ago Bumblebee was released, it actually shocks me. Like, so much has happened ever since the release of that movie, and yeah, this is the first Transformers movie to come out ever since then. And yeah, this is not directed by Michael Bay or Travis Knight. We got Stephen Caple Jr. taking over and is going to be bringing in the Autobots, Terracons, and Maximals all together, and a couple human characters as well, just to make a one big crazy Transformers movie. And yeah, I'd say I was pretty excited for this movie. You know, the first Transformers movie to come out after, what, 4.5 years? And yeah, I'd say I was pretty excited. I thought the CG looked a little off in some of the trailers, but other than that, I was pretty excited to see this movie. So, what did I think of Transformers: Rise of the Beast? As a Transformers movie, it's pretty good. I had a good time. I think it's very enjoyable as a Transformers movie. As an overall movie, it's average. It's fun. It's okay. You can watch it once. You don't really need to watch it again. But yeah, it's got a lot. It's action packed. It's got some humor. It's fun. You know, as a movie, it's okay. As a Transformers movie, I think it's pretty good. I think it's definitely better than most of Michael Bay's Transformers movies. I think it's definitely an improvement. I can't say if it's better than Bumblebee. I don't know. It might not be. It might not be better than Bumblebee, but this is definitely better than most of Michael Bay's Transformers movies. I can tell you that. And yeah, before I get into some little issues, I'm going to talk about some positives. I guess I'll start off by praising the action scenes in this movie and also the CGI on the Transformers. It was fine. I don't think it was as good as Bumblebee's CG. I think that looked a little bit better and maybe not as good as some of the Michael Bay movies. But the CG in this movie was fine. There was a few shots where it was like, of course, not perfect. And some of the action scenes in this movie were actually pretty good. Were they a little ugly looking and a little bland? Yes. They weren't really as like bright and colorful as maybe Bumblebee was, but you could at least tell what was going on most of the time. It wasn't just a bunch of close-ups of the fucking Transformers bashing the shit out of each other. You can actually tell what was going on, and it was mostly shot pretty well, so I guess that was pretty good. And yeah, most of the action is pretty good because you can actually kind of tell what was going on. It's just that it looked a little ugly and bland at times, and it maybe just could have looked a bit better and more interesting. But yeah, let's talk about some of the characters, starting off with, of course, Optimus Prime, voiced by Peter Cullen. And Peter Cullen, come on, of course, he does a great job in this movie because he is Optimus Prime. I think his design doesn't look as cool as he looked in the opening of Bumblebee. I think they did change it a little bit, and he just, I don't know, he looks alright, he looks fine. It's just not as cool as he looked in that movie. There were a few shots where I thought, oh my god, Optimus looks fucking badass in that shot, but I don't know, maybe he just doesn't look as cool as he looked in Bumblebee. You do feel bad for him at times, and yeah, I don't know, you kind of feel for him. He does do some insane shit in this movie. Like, he's ready to fucking kill. But once you see the movie, you'll understand why. Mirage, voiced by Pete Davidson. When I saw the trailers for this movie, I thought this guy was going to be a real pain in the ass. I thought he was going to be just the one irritating, painful, unfunny Autobot out of them all, and he was going to be just a pain in the ass. But thankfully, I can say that he turned out to be a lot better than expected. Like, I thought he was going to be a lot worse, and I think a lot of his weird line deliveries and over-the-top performance in, you know, the trailers was kind of most of the most annoying parts of Mirage is shown in the trailers. Everything else he does in this movie is fine. He wasn't as annoying as I thought he was going to be. Yeah, Pete Davidson does a fine job as doing the voice. He has a few cheesy lines here and there, but other than that, he was fine. I actually thought he was a lot better than expected, and I kind of liked him. He wasn't that bad. But I think they could have done a better job with his design or his face. I think he looks kind of ugly. But other than that, Mirage was pretty good. And who else? Bumblebee. Of course, we got to talk about Bumblebee. I think they kind of pushed him aside a little bit because, like, you have so many characters you got to focus on. You got to focus on Optimus and the Autobots and the Terracons and Maximals and the new human characters, and there's just too many characters to focus on. And Bumblebee already has his own movie, so let's just focus on them, and we'll give Bumblebee some cool stuff here and there, but let's focus on everything else. And Bumblebee is given one scene in this movie that was pretty, like, made me want to fucking clap. Like, it made me want to cheer. It was a pretty cool scene. So Bumblebee pushed aside a little bit, but other than that, he had some cool moments here and there. And yeah, let's talk about the villains of this movie, Unicron and Scourge. Scourge was pretty good. He was voiced by Peter Dinklage, and I was kind of surprised. I was like, there was a few parts where I was like, oh, that's Peter Dinklage? Holy shit, what the hell did he do to his voice? That does not sound like him. And yeah, I think that's what made him actually kind of cool. He actually did a pretty good job as Scourge. But man, he was sort of pushed to the side a little bit. I think he could have gotten a lot more to do in this movie. I mean, of course, he did some really menacing, evil stuff in this movie. Yeah, of course. But like, I don't know, he just could have gotten more to do. And because of that, I don't think I like him as much as other Transformers live-action villains like Lockdown from Age of Extinction. Like, I thought he was pretty cool, and maybe I prefer him, and maybe because, I don't know. I think Scourge just should have gotten more to do, but he did do some evil stuff in this movie, I guess. And Unicron, I don't know. I was a little disappointed with what they did with him at the end. I was like, come on, of course you're going to do that with Unicron. He's just, I can't say, but I don't know. I was a little like, really? Of course you're going to do that. And I don't know, same as Unicron, you get a shot of his face that was already shown in the trailers, but yeah, I don't know. He's there, I guess. Maybe he'll, I don't know. It's hard to talk about without getting the spoilers. But yeah, Scourge was okay. He just maybe could have gotten more to do. But Peter Dinklage did a pretty good job. And the beasts themselves, like the Maximals and stuff. There was two of them that I liked. I liked Optimus Primal. I think he was cool, even though it took him a while to actually show up in the movie. It took a while, but he showed up and he looked okay. There were just a few parts where the CGI looked a little off on him, but other than that, he was good, and he was given some cool stuff to do. Air Razor, is that her name? The bird robot beast, whatever her name is. I think it's Air Razor. She was also pretty cool. She was cool. She was given a lot to do in this movie. Everyone else, the cheetah, the rhino, I don't really remember anything they did in this movie. They were just kind of there. So this movie really wasn't, the main focus of this movie really wasn't the beasts. Like, they were there, of course. They did some stuff, but it was just more about the Autobots and the humans and stuff. And the beasts were there, but they weren't like the main focus. But yeah, they were just there. And I guess I'll give some respect to the two main human characters of this movie, Noah and Elena. Noah's just the guy who kind of helps out during the action scenes, helping out the Autobots and Maximals and stuff, and Elena's just the girl who has information about stuff that they're trying to find and whatever. That's kind of all she is. And, they're kind of really the only two main human characters of this movie. Like, Michael Bay really had a problem with adding way too many humans in his Transformers movies, but those two are basically the only ones. You got these two, you got the two main humans, Elena and Noah, and everyone else are just the Autobots, Maximals, and Terracons, and that's basically it. The other human characters are kind of just sidelined a little bit, so I respect that. I really respect that. And, Noah isn't as over the top and wacky like Shia LaBeouf was, and he's not an inventor like Cade was, but yet he's not as wacky and crazy as Cade was. And, he kind of relates to Optimus with what he's going through and becomes besties with Mirage, and it was okay. I was fine with what they did with the humans in this movie, but, I wouldn't mind a Transformers movie with, no humans at all. That would be kind of cool. But that's all I can really say about my positives, so let's talk about some little issues. I know I literally just said that I don't mind the humans in this movie, but they do feel a little too invincible in this movie. They go through situations and, they're just parts where I'm like, there's no way he would have survived. There's no way she would have survived. And it kind of puts me off. It's like just like the humans from the previous movies. These ones they feel too invincible. They go through things. I'm like, no, they should have died. I don't know. It just kind of put me off. The ending of this movie felt way too familiar to Michael Bay's Transformers movies and how he ended those movies. It just kind of put me off. I'm like, really? You're gonna just do a Michael Bay type ending? And even they even recreated the same theme from Michael Bay's Transformers movie, the first movie in particular. They recreated the same theme, and it just left me confused. Like, so is this a part of the same universe? What? So it was kind of cool to hear the theme again, but it just left me also really confused. And also just felt a little too repetitive of an ending because it felt just like Michael Bay's movies again. Like, really? That's how you're going to end it? Okay. One character that I really want to talk about is Wheeljack. What in the fuck did they do to this guy? He literally looks like fucking Donatello from the live-action Ninja Turtles movie. Like, what's up with the glasses, man? He looks fucking goofy, and the voice actor does a pretty terrible job as well. Like, Wheeljack was fucked in this movie. They fucked him up in this movie. He was easily the worst character in this movie. And, you know, little nitpicks that I've kind of already mentioned, like the CG not being perfect and the Beast not given a lot to do. Scourge wasn't given a lot to do. And some of the action scenes are a little bland and kind of ugly looking. Just kind of little nitpicks like that I kind of already have mentioned. So that's about it. Is this the best Transformers movie? Probably not, but I can definitely tell you that it is better than most of Michael Bay's movies. And I like, you know, that the action scenes are pretty good and you can actually mostly tell what's going on. Even if they are a little ugly and a little bland looking, you can actually tell what's going on. I like how it has a pretty clear focus on the Transformers and doesn't rely on the humans too much, which I really respect. The finale, the final battle in this movie is a lot of fun and is insane. Really enjoyed that. And you know what? It's just a movie, it's kind of average, but as a Transformers movie, it's pretty fun. And would I recommend you go out and see Transformers Rise of the Beast? Well, if you are a hardcore Transformers fan, yes, I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy this. If you just want to watch big robots fight, maybe. I don't know. I feel like you just have to be a fan to enjoy it. Don't expect this to be just as beautiful looking as the opening of Bumblebee that was on Cybertron and stuff. It's not, but it's still got some cool action scenes, and you know, it's got some little, you know, it's got human characters like every Transformers movie. But I think you'll still find some enjoyment out of this movie, and you'll definitely find it better than a lot of the other Transformers movies, and you'll like it, hopefully.
And if you don't know, now you know.
Alrighty guys, this is going to be the end of my review of Transformers Rise of the Beast. Post your comments down below if you think this is the best Transformers movie or not. Yeah, after seeing the movie, I think we need this dude and this dude to do a crossover. I think it needs to happen. They need to battle it out right now. I didn't mean right here, right now. Of course not. Ah!